I'm like, I know the feminine world, they don't. I am the
Yes.
guide.
And owning that power and not getting mad because they don't know, but inviting them into your world and
Exactly.
saying, yeah, like, oh my God, there's an entire world. And if you want to learn about that world, I can show you, and it's totally fucking awesome. Feminine Rebels, you are in for a fucking ride today. I have with me a woman who's going to knock your socks off or your panties off, I hope. You're going to hear things today that you've never heard before. And you're welcome in advance. So I have with me Aubrey Fuller. She is an orgasmic meditation instructor, Eros Sutra librarian, and a leader of the Women Are Power movement. For more than 17 years, she's been walking the erotic path, studying, practicing, and transmitting the wisdom of Eros as both a lived experience and a body of work. Her teaching draws from the archives of the Eros Sutras and her deep research into feminine power. She is known for her ability to awaken remembrance in women of their erotic nature. Aubrey creates spaces where women reconnect with their power, their hunger, and the desire to live fully fucking expressed. Aubrey Fuller, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Feminine Rebellion podcast. I am so fucking thrilled you are here to like crack this nut of women power and our innate eroticism.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for that enthusiastic introduction.
oh my God,
Feel
I'm
all flushed.
right. I hope so. Right. I hope so. And, I know a lot of you cannot see the podcast. If you're in the Feminine Rebellion community, we do share, or we'll be sharing the video, but like I'm in like a little lacy bodysuit and I'm all like dressed up for Aubrey. I'm like bringing it. So, Aubrey, you are a fucking queen. And like everyone who comes on this podcast, like there's a story from like how you got to where you are today. So we just read your bio, like you're fucking doing it. But I'm assuming it wasn't always that way. So can you give us a taste of your journey before we dive into your work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So much of what I teach and so much of it, what the Arrow Sutras that you mentioned in my bio and everything are based on is or close complementary friends with is this practice orgasmic meditation that you also mentioned for me. And so that was kind of my route in to the erotic path, as I would call it, was discovering the existence of this practice of orgasmic meditation in San Francisco about 17 years ago was when I discovered
And
it.
how old were you? Is that okay to ask?
Oh yeah, totally. I was, let's see, I'm 41. So I was
Okay.
20,
So like 24.
24. Yes,
Oh my
thank you.
God. So amazing. Amazing that you discovered this so early. I mean, and to all of our listeners who are in their 20s, fucking welcome. You have reached out to me and I know you're here listening. So like you don't have to be like a midlife maven to fucking be listening to this podcast. So for the 20 somethings, tune in.
Heck yeah.
Heck
um,
yeah.
yeah, so I before that had a very like enthusiastic and curious and interested and active sex life. It had this feel like sexuality had this feeling of power to it.
Mm,
That I wouldn't have known what kind of words to put that in, but I instinctively was drawn to it as something that felt like it held power for me as a woman.
mm,
And so when I discovered that there was a practice that was 15 minutes of clitoris stroking where there's not something that you do like in return for, the person who strokes you in that practice or anything like that, and that it's just 15 minutes and that there's no particular goal, like you get to kind of just take off any agenda or anything and sink into your body for 15 minutes and have somebody just put attention just on that one part of the body. I was like, um, well, at first I
Ding,
was
ding,
really
ding.
confronted. At first I was like, that seems like a really long time to receive that much attention, like in that way. I don't know if I could do that. And I felt really actually confronted by it. But then it also sounded so beautiful and made so much sense to me, even though it was such a strange, edgy thing.
Mm. Yes, no, I'm holding those two stories right now for you. It's like, wow, I'm curious about this, but can I even receive that? Do I have the capacity to receive that much attention without there having to be any reciprocation? Like it just sounds weird.
Yes. I didn't actually believe it. I mean, I think I was oming orgasmic meditation, oming. I think I
Yeah.
was for a year before I finally understood that the friends who I had begun practicing with, who were mostly men, enjoyed it as much as I did. We're not expecting reciprocation. There wasn't another shoe that was going to drop, basically. It took me about a
Right.
year for that to sink in at a body level, because I think as women working with women conditioning, like that is so difficult to believe. That is
Yes.
difficult to believe. You're
It
waiting for that
is.
other shoe to drop.
Yeah, always. Always.
Always.
Always. So let's like back up even further because
Okay.
people listening are like, what the fuck is orgasmic meditation? What is she talking about? Like she's like laying there on a bed and some random person is stroking her clit. Like, what is this? Where does it come from? It
Wow.
sounds fucking nuts. Like,
That would
so
be that would be another level. Nope, nope, not how works. Okay, totally. Yes, I will rewind and describe it a bit. So, orgasmic meditation, it's a 15-minute partnered practice. So it's always done with another person. There's a stroker and a strokee. The strokee has to have a clitoris, and the stroker has to have a left index finger to stroke with. Although I will say, if you happen to not have that, you can use like the middle finger or something. That did happen one time in the community.
okay.
Every now and then somebody doesn't have that.
Wait, why important a left index finger?
Because you sit to the right. So the stroker sits to the right of
Oh, okay.
the woman that they're stroking. And so positionally, like their arm and their hand is just positioned really well to come to the upper left hand quadrant of the clitoris, because you're kind of stroking the upper left hand
Okay.
quadrant.
Oh my God. Okay. This is getting really fucking technical. Okay. So sorry, I derailed us. So you're in partnership with another person who has a left index finger
Yep.
and you're
You have a clitoris.
just okay. And you have the clitoris and you're laying there
Mhm.
and then
So, and then one last thing to point out that was also shocking to me. So, you, as the person being stroked, you just only take off like your skirt or your pants or whatever, the rest of your clothes stay on. And the person stroking you, all their clothes stay on. And so this is truly, I mean, it's funny because it's not, I mean, it has to do with the genitals. So you think, of course, sexuality, and it does have to do with sexuality. It does work with the sexual impulse, but it feels like such a practice. I kept thinking going into it that it was going to feel super sexual, and it actually feels much more like a meditation or like
hmm.
yoga or something that includes an element of sexuality that other practices don't typically have.
Yeah, it's interesting. It sounds almost like clinical in a way. Like,
I
you
had
know,
that at the beginning. I was like, this sounds so weirdly sterile. Like, is it gonna
yeah.
be intimate? Like,
And is it intimate?
it's very intimate. Yeah, it's very intimate, but it's a type of intimacy that for, well, women have, so I learned this, women have a vigilance center that's 2.5 times larger than men's typically. And so we have a lot of vigilance to work with. And so the clinical aspect, the protocols and the steps that you go through every single time with OM, really helps the brain relax into the intimacy because the experience is very intimate, but you do have to
Mm.
address that vigilance center or you can't really sink into that.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like we need a framework.
Yeah.
We need to know their structure,
Yeah.
and within the structure there's safety.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's what you when you're talking about vigilance, you mean like the importance that we have to feel safe in our bodies. And so you create, and it's interesting, what's coming to me, Aubrey, is this like balance of the masculine and the feminine, right? Like there needs to be like, and I don't mean gender,
Hmm.
everyone,
Hmm.
but there it's we can relax into structure. We can be held in structure. So there's this very clear, what it sounds like, protocol.
Hmm.
And because of that protocol, a woman has more easily receive
Yeah.
open.
Hmm. Exactly. You kind of got to have that, you know. My experience was you build a sense of internal safety from repeating that practice so much. You
Mm,
build a really strong sense of internal safety, and then that really can carry over into all other aspects of life, like in your sexuality or I was so shy coming into I was like a complete introvert. Like I wouldn't look anyone in the eye. People thought I was blind.
so this is interesting. So okay, I guess I have a million question,
Okay.
Aubrey, but like number one, like what is the overarching like purpose of orgasmic meditation?
Yeah, well, so it's in its most essential thing, it is to harness the erotic or the sexual impulse kind of out of the realm of sexuality
Mm,
with a very protocoled, very elegant, practice that truly harnesses it for then you to be able to use it to reach higher states of consciousness, basically.
mm. So based,
And in connection with another person, not sitting alone in a cave by yourself, but in
right.
connection. So then the fact that it's you're reaching these higher states, but it reinforces it being done in connection as well. And so then there's this natural rewiring that happens that allows that reaching of higher states to become a collective thing.
Mm. And so are you ever is this a like a one-on-one practice, or are the practices happening in community?
Both.
Both.
Both,
Okay.
yeah. So it can be done just as you would imagine one on one in your room or whatever. I mean, there's a specific, setup where you do it called a nest. And it has,
Oh, I love
like
that.
down a blanket and a yoga mat and pillows, and you have a meditation cushion, ideally, like a zafu with buckwheat in it,
Yeah.
for the stroker to sit on. So that could be done anywhere in your house or your room by yourself with your person that you've decided to own with, your friend or your partner or whoever it is. And it can also be done in what's called like a group practice,
Mhm.
or in the community, it's been called an ohm circle. And it's not in a circle, so I don't know why it ever became called that because it's not circular. But
Yeah.
but whatever. And so that would be a whole group of people. Oming might be a few nests. It might be, well, one time we had this huge orgasmic meditation like conference years and years ago, and I said that the most nests we ever had in a room was like 500.
Wow.
Yeah, it was stunning. Like it was like incredible. Yeah, for sure.
And so is the goal to achieve orgasm, I'm assuming?
So, yeah, so one of the things that this Eros philosophy teaches is that there's more like the orgasm state that you enter into,
Mm,
and you could be in that state kind of all the time. And it's a little bit more found at the edge of climax or in those places that open up when you're not quite over that edge, but you're
yeah.
fully in your body and in the sensation. And that would be like there's an orgasm state that you can reach.
Yeah.
And that's different than climax.
Yes.
And so you're not one of the things I think that women one of the things I'll just speak for my one and I've taught a bunch of women who have said this, but one of the things that was huge for me was the pressure of that being taken off. Like there's a desire for that, but there's also a certain
Mm,
pressure that I felt. And so if it happens in an ohm, it's fine. Like but it's not the pursuit, and not having
mm.
to have a pursuit was a very big relief for me.
Yeah, not
And so,
to have the end goal.
yeah, Exactly. Yeah. We call it goallessness. It's a goalless practice in that way.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I mean, when I've been, on the edges of this work for years. And when I've never done orgasmic meditation as you've described it, but orgasm to me is a form of prayer.
I love that.
So for me, it's my connection to divinity. So if I'm like a lot of people, I grew up in a Catholic household, you knelt by your bed and prayed every night. But like for me, morning and night, my prayer, if I'm asking God or divinity or the universe to show me a sign, I'm practicing, I'm masturbating essentially, touching myself and getting to the state that you're describing, which is not climax, but it's like a different vibrational state. It's almost like the state of oneness
Mm, I agree.
through which I feel I am more connected to the fabric of the universe. And for those, who are listening are like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like this is the way my brain works and how I have begun to feel more alive in my body over the last 10 years, like through these practices. So
I love that.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
so
love that. I feel like you're describing working really well with arousal, working with
yes.
the power of arousal. I think this is why one of the reasons I'm drawn to working with sexuality and eros and and arousal is because it's like nuclear power. And
Mm,
if we could only learn how to meet it well and befriend it and
mm.
skillfully harness it and plug it into, things properly, it's so much power to put behind anything.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is the source of our power. It is the ultimate source of our power. And I feel so lucky to be a woman who has this innate capability to walk around as fully resourced,
Mm,
you know,
mm-hmm.
because of it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You just feel like there's nothing I can't do or experience, even the hardest things in life, right? And because of this source of power. So,
I love that so much. The way you say it just makes me feel how much I want that for all women
right?
so deeply. Yeah.
So deeply. So I'm curious what's shifted for you. It's been 17 years. You came to this work, it sounds like as just like a turned on, I love sex 24-year-old woman. And like you walk into orgasmic meditation, you're like, oh, wow. I mean, I'm so curious about this. But now, 17 years later, you are like, I don't know if you call yourself like a master teacher or an instructor or, you are a leader in this space.
Mm.
So it's not just about sex at all. I mean, it's not about sex. So what's shifted for you? Like, what can we offer to the women who are listening? Like, who are you now?
I came in I came in so shy and so introverted to and I didn't know that it would help me build a bridge from my very like rich interior world of total observation with like zero expression. Like I had like
Yeah.
zero expression of anything in here out
Yeah.
into the world, and it was the thing that really helped me build that bridge. And so that's something that I think it offers women is just like in whatever places a woman needs to be fortified, to build resilience, to build confidence, I mean, and that's something that happens as a byproduct, I think, of being in your body, like really being in your body and knowing your power and the source of your power, like you were talking about, and understanding that that source lives in you. That kind of confidence comes from the real value that, that for me, like I developed uh, through Om. And so 17 years later, I don't know if a day will come when the novelty of being able to be expressed will wear off. I spent such a long time feeling
How could it?
I don't,
It's the best
it hasn't
fucking
happened
feeling in the
yet.
world.
It hasn't happened yet. And so every day I kind of experience life like creatively and I'm like, well, even on the worst days, it's like, well, what do you want to create? What do you want to say? Like one thing for the past year and a half, something like that, I've gotten really active on my social media and making content on my social media and all kinds of different videos and things. Some quite controversial subjects, some just things that, literally just books I read that I got obsessed with that I needed to talk about and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I've been doing that more. And every time I make a video or post a video, I'm like, I'm expressing, like
Yes.
I'm
This
like,
is Aubrey. This
wow.
is me.
It never wears off. Like I'm just still so excited to like be able to be expressed. And I think even I've worked with thousands of women over the years, right? And even for the ones who are on the totally opposite end of the spectrum of me, where they just were not introverted and didn't have that exact journey,
Mm.
they still, across the board, I've very rarely ever met a woman who felt fully clued into her desire and able to express it and really comfortable around her sexuality or talking about her
Mm.
power, like no,
We
that's not.
don't talk about this,
No, no,
right?
no.
It's like it lives in the shadows. Like we might not even know what that is. If you ask a woman, like, when people start working with me, it's like, okay, what do you want? I don't even know what I want.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've been
Yes.
living on autopilot for so long. And by the time they reach me, they're like, 40, 41, 45, 55, saying, like, I don't even know what that looks like. So, what this work is feels like it's like unlocking the door. It's like opening the door to your desires.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Opening the door to tuning into your desires, discovering them, feeling the chutzpah or the wherewithal to
Yeah.
fulfill them or like talk about them, and then also
Yes.
to begin to really understand desire, like the energy of desire as because there's like the object of desire and then there's
Mm.
the energy of desire and there's getting into relationship with the energy of desire and letting it
Yes.
draw you out, and then there's
Yes.
getting the object of your desire, whatever that thing is or person or whatever, like
Yeah.
new car or like boyfriend
Yeah.
or whatever it is, like
But it's always in the energy, right?
it's
It's
always in the energy. Yeah.
always in the energy of what
Yeah.
we want. We
Yeah.
call it the chase or whatever, but it's like to stay in that energy of wanting, of desiring, of going after it, tuning into what that feels like in your body, right?
Exactly, exactly. Tuning into what that feels like in your body, right? Like getting
Yes.
getting into a relationship with being like, that's the feeling of my desire. Like, oh, I think when I feel that, it means I want this. I mean, that
Yeah.
those bridges were a whole thing to build. I think culturally, we get very divorced from our desire as women and we can get very far from that and then yeah you're like I don't even know what I want, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I want, but it's right there and there's different paths to tuning into that.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about how you want to like feel in your body or what it feels like to be in that energy. A question I love to ask women is like, how do you want to feel?
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you want to feel? And it changes every day. Like I have a reminder on my Google Calendar, and every day at 9 a.m. it pops up saying, who do you want to be and how do you want to feel?
I love
You
that.
know, some days I want to feel like cozy and supported and just like in a nest, right? And, other days I want to feel like a fucking badass out there with like hot clothes and, like a more of a vixen energy.
Yeah,
And every day it's different and we get to choose something different every day.
I really like that. I might take something like that on actually in this phase of my life. I really like that a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I more than ever I would say I play now with being like, for me, female conditioning looked a lot like just being incredibly accommodating and kind of overly impressionable by my environment and the strong personalities around me. I would surround myself with strong personalities and date very like extroverted, strong people because I felt so introverted and shy and I was looking for someone to outside of me to fulfill the complement to how inside I felt.
Yes.
And so then in the years of walking the erotic path and researching and studying all things Eros and oming and all of that, I've learned to draw so much of that inside and to look for the complement, to develop the complement in myself instead of seek for it outside of myself.
Mm,
And then I don't put so much pressure on my relationships either, which has been huge for me.
right. Yeah, you're a fully resourced woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so so lately I've been feeling like, how do I go even another level with defining myself and my reality? You know, like how, to me, that's like so against female conditioning to do that. Like you're supposed to consider everyone and everything happening in the environment all the time, and then you're supposed to be the thing that's needed the most around you from everybody around you, and like you're supposed to figure out, you know, like what do other people need and then how do I help with that, you know? It's kind of, that's sort of the fundamental.
Yeah.
And so to be like, not in dismissal of what others need or anything, but to be like, who am I today and what do I want? That's why I love your reminder. I'm like, I'm taking that on.
No, please do.
Really
I
like that.
have these practices I call sacred selfishness.
Mm,
And it's like, what do I actually want? And what I've learned, I'm almost 50, is, and I have 3 kids, is that the more like selfish I become, the more I'm kind of tuning in to what I want, the more I'm becoming more fully expressed and, being really clear about who I am and what I desire from the people around me. Everyone's happier.
100%.
Everyone's happier. Everyone knows who I am. They know what I will and will not put up with. They know how to be in community with me, how to be in relationship with me. It's just a much less messy way to live. It's just,
I love that.
if we were all just fucking ourselves and didn't worry about what everyone else needed and what everyone else thought of us, if we were just really, I know the word authentic is like boring, but like I say, in our wildness,
Mm,
in just like the truth of who we are, then man, this world would be a much more beautiful place to live.
100%. I love
Right?
that so much. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I feel like I've been playing with that more and just kind of letting myself acknowledge and then fully embody the impact, the huge impact that I have around me on my immediate environment and on everyone that I'm connected to, and to like play with that more.
Yeah. And have there been edges? Like, what are the edges of that work for you? What does that look like?
Definitely. Well, as I said, I mean, I've been, you know, playing on social media more and posting things on there, and so
Yeah.
sometimes that's been an edge. I mean, I did it knowing that you're going to get a troll in your comment section sometimes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna get it. And so I was like ready, but for the
yeah,
first probably 6 months or something, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, what do I want to respond? How do I want to, what's the way
yeah,
to engage with this? You know, and so
yeah.
that was the whole growth edge. And now I'm like, now I feel like I've grown so much around that, and I can really,
Mm,
I feel like I've grown in wisdom around a lot of times where that's coming from too with people and how to play with it more and get less and less upset by it and really like engage with it in a way that just feels like practicing sharpening my own sword, you know, but with a lot of love too. Like
yeah,
I don't want to rebound any nasty stuff back in my direction. No, I don't put out any of that, but I'm firm
yeah.
and I get to practice being like, nope, that's not it. You know, like,
Yeah, exactly. You get
yeah,
to kind
and
of get your
loving, but
Dom
no.
energy on, like,
Yeah,
nope, yeah, not
like,
here.
yeah, exactly. So that's been a really good one. And then I think one of the ones this has been a huge one for me this year is actually just deepening my skill in relating with men across the board, like as friends, as lovers, family relationships, any man relationship, all of them, all forms, and really understanding that being like the power that you talked about, that is like the source of all our power. I think that's unique to women. This is one of the controversial things that I talk about
Yeah,
sometimes. And one of
yeah,
the controversial aspects of this Eros philosophy and stuff is that women have a power that men don't. like,
I agree. And I'm so curious how you talk about it because I haven't found words to describe it. It's a feeling for me.
Yeah.
So, how are you?
I think so. One of the ways that I personally test this all the time for my own, and every time it is novel. Every time I'm like, wow, that is wild. So in this Eros philosophy, one of the ways that it's discussed is it's called call and response. And it's like women have call, well, women have response too. They have call and response, and men have response. And so I don't know. I'll do something. This is such a simple one. I want this to be studied by science. I just think this.
Yeah.
I just think this would be the coolest thing ever. This is actually a thing that the some of the because this our whole leadership crew has gotten into connection with a lot of different scientists who have become fascinated with Om and studied all different facets of Om and stuff. And there
Yeah.
is one or two of them who are interested in doing some kind of study on call, this
Yeah.
thing women can do is this magnetism thing.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's this, and this is, I'm going to say this, and every woman listening to this is going to be like, oh yeah, for sure. I do that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's like no big deal.
no, no big deal. So all I have to do is I'll just like, I'll think of like a lover that I had like 6 months ago or something. I just think
Mm-hmm.
about this person intensely.
Mm-hmm.
They will text within a day or 2 days every time.
Mm,
Every time.
mm.
Or they'll pop, they'll like my Instagram story or something like that. And that's something that I could do on purpose, or it's something that definitely happens kind of on accident also.
Or like
Accident, not
subconsciously,
on
right?
accident.
Like it's
But like,
almost subconscious. Like you think
yeah,
of it and you realize after they've texted or reached out or messaged that you're like, oh my God, I was totally just thinking about that.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
how many hundreds of times does that have to happen before women are like, I think I maybe have a power?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so in my relating with men, I think for me, this is the next level that I would love for womankind to arrive to in general, that I feel like I'm just taking some steps in myself, which is a certain I would call it noblesse oblige, which is the obligation of nobility. And it's kind of like when you are internally wealthy, when you are are well resourced, and you
Mm,
have a certain kind of interior wealth,
yes.
you have an obligation in a sense to be kind and generous and patient,
Mm,
and to be like, to take the time perhaps to show someone something instead of just get mad that they don't know how to do it,
mm,
for instance, right? And so this last year and a half or so, within my relating with men, I've been feeling this distinct appreciation for men, and the kind of, I feel like men are really at the mercy of women in a certain way, and I don't,
100
obviously,
fucking percent. What do you
and
mean in a certain
culturally that's
way?
how
Like
it's presented,
they
and so
need us.
yeah.
Like we are the true leaders of this planet, of this collaboration that we're all doing here on this planet Earth. Like we'll keep going, but I'm so with you on this.
Exactly. And so I think something softened in me in the last like year and a half, where men used to feel frustrating to me, or I would think they were dumb, or I would be intimidated by them, or I would put them on a pedestal and be overly admiring and inflate them into some
Mm,
huge fantasy thing that then I would get very attached to, and all these different ways where I wasn't really relating to them as like humans or
yeah.
friends. And so I think my friendship with men has deepened a lot in the last year or so, where I feel like, oh, like this person is relating with me in this way, or touching me in this way, or talking to me in this way, because they don't understand the world of the feminine at all.
Yeah.
And how could I be a friend here and not embarrass them about it, but also be like, hey, it seems like I could clue you into some things. Would you be interested in hearing about how I like it? Or would
Oh
you
my God.
be interested
Give
in
me
hearing
an example.
about,
Give me an example of how this is showing up. I want details.
well, I mean, sexuality is like the easiest one
Yeah.
to get, but
Yeah.
it's the same in conversation and everything too. But I mean, in sexuality, so let me think. I have this new ability in my, because I used to feel very, for many years, I would feel like, okay, it's my job to tell this person that if I want an adjustment, like we'll be in the middle of an experience,
Yeah.
and I'll think to myself, I want this thing to be different. Like, I want less pressure, or like, I want them to do it this way or go a little bit to the left or something like that.
Yeah.
And I, for years, wouldn't speak up. Then for years I would speak up, but I'd be very like tight about it and kind of mad, like they're doing it on purpose,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and I know, like I knew that of course they just want to like get it right, but I would be like irritated about it, and then for a long time, then it was kind of just dry, like just kind of dry, like kind of like,
Yeah.
yes, this is going well. Could we try this now?
Yeah.
Phases, and that's just what it was like for me. I mean, it was like all these phases. I knew the importance of like adjusting and saying when I wanted something different and speaking my desires. I had done enough work to know
Mm.
that, but it didn't come out super like artfully,
Or inviting.
or inviting or vulnerable. It was
Right.
kind of like protective and like tight, like
Yes.
assuming that like why would you want to give this to me, but I'm going to ask for it anyway.
Yes.
And of course, they're always like, yeah, like we can try whatever. And then more recently, I've felt like this seamless, warm, open hearted, open body
Mm.
experience in sexuality where it's like genuinely enjoying whatever's happening and wanting something different and being able to communicate both in how I speak it. So it'd be kind of like, wow, I really love that. That feels so good. Could we try this? Could we also try this? Or could you slow this down a little bit? And could you
Mm.
touch me this way a little bit more? That would be amazing, or like, and kind of in the like down still in the body
Yeah.
level of speaking instead of
Yeah.
kind of
Like,
up out of the body into the head.
yeah, like one feels like cerebral, like a checklist, and the other one feels like co-creative, playful,
Yes.
curious, and
Co-creative, collaborative, even.
collaborative,
Yes.
co-create. And that's why we want to have sex with partners, right? It's a co-creative, magical, it's a merging of two energies. It's a dance, right? It's
Yes.
play. A woman who, and I can already feel, like I feel in my body the shift between what you were saying before about like left, go right, versus like, yeah, that was good. Like, oh, how do you feel about trying it this way? Like, can we go over there? Like, there's the difference, not even in your tone, but like the energy behind it. One is like a woman fully fucking rooted in her power. Like the almost like you're the guide of the experience,
Yeah.
and you're
Yes. Yeah,
right. Like,
that's what it is. That's what I accepted in the last year with men. I'm like, I know the feminine world, they don't. I am the
yes,
guide.
yes. And owning that power and not getting mad because they don't know, but inviting them into your world and
Exactly.
saying, yeah, like, oh my God, there's an entire world. And if you want to learn about that world, I can show you, and it's totally fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like all of your relationships will benefit, and you'll have way better sex, and women will be fucking flocking to you if you understand the feminine. Come dive in with me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, of course you want to, they want to know, they want that world. I think that world is the world with meaning, you know what I mean? And color and life. That
Yes.
is the world of literal life. Like, that's what everyone wants access to. And,
Yes.
we say this thing at Women Over Dinner, which is part of the Women Are Power movement that you mentioned in my bio, where we say we are the jewel. Women are the jewel. We are the
Mm,
jewel that everyone is seeking, that we're seeking, and that men are seeking, and that all genders are seeking. Everybody is seeking the jewel of woman.
it's true. Well, this is an awesome segue. So tell us about the Women Are Power movement and how, because I mean, women are who are listening are like, what the hell is going on? What are they talking like? Because we live in the same similar worlds, right?
Right. Right.
but I want to invite our listeners into something. Tell us about the Women Are Power movement, and then also about these dinners that you're hosting, which I need to come to.
Yes, absolutely. The Women Are Power movement, it's something that naturally developed over the last few years around women over dinner, around orgasmic meditation, around kind of these various women communities that I had helped develop and that I was a part of and had benefited from really deeply. And so Women Are Power is sort of this all-encompassing movement of just women who have acknowledged in themselves that having a deep relationship with the erotic, and what that means for them as individuals is
Mm,
vital to being connected to our power as women. I think that's the threshold to be part of that movement. It's like you basically are like, okay, I'm clear that I need to be in contact with my erotic energy, and what does that mean for me?
mm, mm.
And then there's all the, and then there's all these different ways to engage with that movement offers, whether it's women over dinner or orgasmic meditation or the Eros Sutras, or, there's a lot of different things that we do. But, and then women over dinner is kind of like the flagship aspect of the Women Are Power movement. And so this is a really cool, so women over dinner, it's this format, and you're at a table with other women. There's an intro, and then you answer the series of questions with the women. And there's a few other structural things that go with it, but overall, it's a very simple structure. And somehow, every single time, whether it's a table with like 4 women or it's a huge room like we do in Harlem with 100 women and all different tables, women have like this profound experience of coming back to their power, tapping into their beauty and their wisdom, feeling really just like they can be themselves at the table and feel really accepted. I
Mm.
think a big part of it is just being in a room with erotic women, like I think just
Yeah.
being in a room and in a field with a lot of other erotic women and other women who want to be in contact with their own erotic energies is actually probably the most powerful thing about it. But the structure itself is also like oddly profound, simple but profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are happening all over the country, just in New York, or
They happen all over the world. We have these really big ones in Harlem about every month. The next one is November 6th, and those are like 100 women, and those are kind of our core Women Over Dinner team, produces those, and those are like really amazing. We usually have special speakers at those. Topeka
mm,
Sam, who's a criminal justice reform queen, she's an incredible woman, and sometimes other guest speakers and things like that as well. So we sort of do like a whole big event about every month in Harlem. And then it's also something that women all over the world do on their own. And so, I have a team member who's been doing this in Los Angeles. She just had a 50-person one at a woman's house in, I want to say in Topanga Canyon, maybe. And then sometimes there's like little crossover ones with other women's organizations. Like S Factor just did a Women Over Dinner, and they had like 15 people. And, we have
amazing.
different women's communities want to collaborate in different ways. And
Oh my God, I'm in.
it's like amazing.
Yeah,
It really is so fun. It's such a cool way to spread
very cool.
women's power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have to talk about that offline because now I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to host a women are. I want to host a dinner in Boston. I need to
I'll give
wake
you
these
everything you
fucking wake these fucking women up. So, um, okay, so for the people who are listening and they're listening to us and thinking, oh my God, okay, I want what they're having. Where do I even start? What's like the first thing a listener should do to start this like journey to kind of unleashing the erotic or making connection with it?
Yeah. Let's see. So like if you're heard us when we were talking about orgasmic meditation and you were like into that, I had a
Yeah.
resonance with that. The funnest way to learn that these days is erosplatform.com. We
Mhm.
do every 2 or 3 weeks or so, we do an intro to like a live class on the platform. And
Okay.
it usually has maybe like 10 or 15 people in it or something like that. And it's like 3.5, 4 hour Zoom class with breaks and everything. And you
Yeah.
get like, download of the philosophy, and then you get to see these little videos of how to actually set up a nest and do the practice and stuff. And those are really fun. So I teach those with my friend Eli, or sometimes my friend
Amazing.
Alicia will teach those with Eli, and that's a blast. And then there's a thing called the Ohm app, which you can
Hmm.
download at the App Store, literally
Okay.
onto your phone. If you want to learn for free, you can do
Okay.
that too. Like if you have a partner or someone in mind that you could practice with, and you're just like, I just want to learn this thing as fast as I can and for free, and just try it with
Yeah.
somebody I already have in mind, you could do it that way. We wanted to make it free and easily accessible, you know.
Amazing.
And then there's a couple other ways on the platform too. There's a whole curriculum around it. It's one of those things that
Okay.
has no ceiling, you know, like you
Yeah.
learn basics and then it just expands from there.
And so are there any live events happening anymore?
Like in-person
In
classes.
person, yeah.
We don't have one on the books right now. It's kind of in discussion, you know, like we have
Okay.
this center in Harlem where we do different events and things.
Yep.
We do like for anyone in New York, we do a thing called a turn on Tuesday nights at 7.
Hmm.
That is communication games, and that event is kind of designed to feel like having an ohm without having an ohm. Like
Yeah.
nobody's having an ohm, so nobody's taking pants off or anything. You're
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
sitting in a room doing communication games with each other, but it's meant to feel like an ohm so that people could get a taste of it that
Hmm.
way. So that's a cool thing that we do. That's in person. And yeah, I think we will start doing classes in person again at some point, and the online has been more desirable at the moment for
Yeah.
people, you know. We do, I mean, this isn't just like learn the practice, but we have this 8 month program starting in January that will be in person, that will meet once a month in person, called the Connection Program. And it's kind of a spin-off, or it's like our current version of something we used to have called the coaching program, which was by far our most popular program, hugely fun community building thing that we used to do for years. And so that will include orgasmic meditation and stuff too in it.
Amazing. So much to dive into. And listeners will put every single link, that every single resource Aubrey has mentioned, into the show notes, including your Instagram, that now
Yeah.
we're going to flood with really delicious
Come
comments.
now, you guys know when you look at my Instagram, you could be like, you can know that I was such an introvert and that I have so much fun posting a video every time.
Yay. Oh my God. I mean, this conversation with you is just, I know, cracking so many women wide open, and just the reminder that our eroticism, it's like the opposite of dirty, right? It's
Yes,
actually our divinity, a source of our power. And just such a delight to have you on here, Aubrey. And I'm so excited to dive more deeply into your work and see how the feminine rebellion and how me specifically can get more involved.
I would love that. Yeah, I would absolutely love that.
Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Um, well, if Women Over Dinner really lit you up,
Yeah.
womenover dinner.org, if you want to just go right
Okay.
to. And I know you'll send all the links and everything too,
Yeah.
but so that it was on my mind. And then yeah, I enjoyed this so much. I love talking about these things so much, and I love, I don't even know the women that tune in or are going to tune into this, but I love you all. I want your phrase of what did you call it? Fully resourced. Fully resourced keeps
Yeah.
just staying with me, and I just so deeply want that for all women. And so if you're listening to this, do that however you want.
Exactly.
Set on the path of that, however you
Yeah.
see fit, because it is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. That is the goal, right? To feel fully resourced. To feel fully resourced.
Yeah.
And to be around people who can remind us how to become fully resourced. Like this stuff, I just from being in conversation with you is just this reminder that this is collaborative, right? Like we remind each other of our power, and that it's like really, it's not easy to like do this work alone. It's like to have your power reflected by another woman, by another human.
I feel like women operate as a mycelium network more
You
than,
mentioned that. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, like we're so mycelium network.
Like your power is like pinging my power,
Hmm.
right? And it's like my power pings your power. And then we ping a woman who needs power. And it's like all of a sudden, ding, 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 ding. That's the ripple effect of this work,
100%. Yeah.
right? All right. We're going to leave it at that. Feminine rebellion. This is a fucking good one. All right. Love you madly and peace out. Mwah.